Rachel Nichols. She is in Paris for the Olympics. What a plum assignment is that? What a great, I mean, good Lord. We're out here banging around.
I can bring you back a baguette. I can bring you back some wine. What are we talking here, Colin? What do you need me to do?
That is great. I was saying earlier that I thought the competition was great, but the intensity, the focus of our American players, it's been impressive. Like, right? Like, the games weren't supposed to be this ugly, were they?
Yeah, I mean, look, again, they haven't played. Well, we see a lot from what happens against Serbia. That's one of the big lights that they're playing in the biggest stage in the medal round where it counts, and maybe that'll be a tougher matchup. I would expect it to be, but yeah, absolutely. The way this team has drilled down, the way particularly LeBron James has drilled down, we expected it from him just because he's been exceptional at everything he does. We've seen him play this past year. We knew that being 39 years old was not exactly a hindrance the way it would be for other players. You know, there's the country song that goes, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And I think that that's true of LeBron these days for sure, is that when he wants to, when he knows it's the moment to turn it on, he can do everything he has always been able to do. He has the full package available to him, not all the time anymore, but enough of the time. And this is one of those times. If you put him under truth serum, would he say that he thinks this is his last chance to win a title on a major stage of anything? I don't know. Maybe he believes he can do that with the Lakers in the next couple of years, but he knows he has the chance to do it right now. You are seeing that focus that is translated from the rep to the rest of the team from day one. I just spent the afternoon today, Colin, with Grant Hill, and he said from the day they started practice in Las Vegas, it has LeBron who's been setting the tone for everyone, saying, this is serious. We have to dominate.
You know, I think it's fitting, and it makes me happy that KD becomes the all-time leading scorer, because he's made some choices in his career I didn't love in terms of where he's playing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he's been great, sometimes not. It didn't fit as well. But if his career ended after these Olympics and you said, you know who the all-time leading scorer is on the Olympics? It's Kevin Durant. Players would go, yeah, it's Kevin Durant. I think it means a lot for him. I don't know how he thinks of it, but how is it viewed by the players?
I think it means a tremendous amount to Kevin. And I think you're dead on, as usual, with his whole career has been super, incredibly impressive. I mean, time condenses things. And when we look back 20 years from now at the numbers Kevin Durant will have put up, at the titles he won, at the gold medals he won, I think that his whole resume is going to create a different feeling than some people have about him right now in the middle of it, in the talk show era, in this moment. But the gold medals are an important part of it. Being the leading all-time U.S. scorer is a part of it. And I think to have a guy who maybe hasn't everything worked out to the full extent his talent might have allowed, and everything worked out quite as he had hoped in different cities, to be able to do this, to have this go right, is so important for him, and just really a statement to how his game translates. He is better than everyone else on the court when he is on the court in international play. It is true on this amazing, elite, incredible team, and it is true globally, and it is a sight to see.
You know, this is, and I know this is hard, this is kind of speculation, but generally in the Olympics, you'll have relationships that are formed that, you know, guys just pass each other in the night. I mean, you don't even have time after games, Rachel, as you've covered the NBA forever. You're on a plane. You don't have time for dinner together. Yeah. Like, it's all off-season stuff. Yeah. But I have this feeling with this Olympic team, have there been a couple of relationships where you're like, I mean, you're over there like, that's interesting. They're like friends.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting. These guys are playing with each other, so they get to see how they mesh and fit for a possible alliance down the road as free agents, maybe together in the NBA. They're spending time together. They see who they want to hang out with. I keep an eye on Devin Booker and who he's talking to, because he's working out with Jason Tatum a lot. He's hanging out with Bam Adebayo a lot. He's such a connector. He's a laid-back, easygoing personality. Guys like him. He's just a cool guy to hang around with. He loves cars. I mean, he's just got a lot of like fun interests to talk about with other players. He plays video games. And I would just keep an eye on him and who you see him talking to on the bench and things like that, because who knows, that could be a prelude to down the road in the NBA.
Anthony Edwards, his game is great. It's ascending, not always perfectly refined, but that's okay. He came into this league as like 20-year-old kid. Kind of take me to, with all these aging stars, you get to be at practice, you get to see all this stuff. How's Anthony Edwards? How's Ant fit into all this stuff?
I mean, he lights up every room he's in, right? I mean, it's incredible what we see. When I see when I'm talking to him in the locker room, what you guys see on TV, that's real in the room. And in a constellation of stars like they have on Team USA, to be the one lighting up the room is pretty exceptional. His confidence remains so high, even in this group. We saw it during the playoffs. We saw all the talk he was talking with Minnesota. And you thought maybe when he got around this group of guys, some of that would be toned down. We saw right away in training camp it wasn't, when he declared himself the number one option. And when I was talking to Steve Kerr about this Serbia game, he said, look, we have appropriate fear of Serbia. Every single guy on our team would probably tell you, and he's talking about even LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry, would tell you that Nikola Jokic is the best basketball player on earth right now. And I said, would Anthony Edwards say that? And he said, no, he would not. So Anthony's confidence has not dulled even a little bit. And I think he's doing so well here in this environment because he's a sponge. The thing about Ant is, and you've seen this so much, Colin, is that he has all of the bravado, but he's also willing to learn and acknowledge who his heroes are and who might be better than him. And he's just got a great sense of how it all fits together. And I think he's going to come out of this an even better player than we saw him go into it.
Finally, I know you're in Paris, which is amazing. You always get the plum assignments. JJ Redick has now filled out the staff. I thought it was a pretty good.
Yes.
I thought it was a pretty good staff. Your thoughts on it?
Pretty good, right? Yeah, no, I agree.
I thought it was good. Nate McMillan is on the
Yeah,
staff.
no, I think, look, I think Scotty Brooks is underrated. So I'm thrilled to see him back sort of doing this kind of thing in this bright environment. Nate McMillan, parted ways under circumstances with the Hawks that had more to do with a personality conflict than almost anything else. So there's a lot of factors here that ended these two guys where they are to be the lead assistants on Redick's staff. And I think they're going to be a great fit in LA because they can talk to JJ about some of the really big picture things like how you manage minutes or how you manage certain situations that JJ hasn't been in. But they can also talk to him about the really simple little things like, hey, this is the best time to have a meeting pregame, because JJ has never had to think about that or plan that out before. There's so many little tiny things about being a head coach that if you've just never done them before, that they become bigger obstacles than they should have to be. So the fact that he's got these really experienced guys at his side, I think are going to make a big difference. I love them bringing Lindsey Harding in. I think she's going to be a real bright light and fresh voice on this staff and can obviously help them with development, having come from the G League and having been the G League Coach of the Year. So I think that they are making smart moves all the way up and down with this coaching staff. It's still going to have to come down to what happens when the games start. And when LeBron James and Anthony Edwards look across the court at JJ, do they have confidence that he knows what he's doing? Do they want to do what he wants to do? Or is it like what you were just talking about in the story before I came on? Are they like, I don't know. I'm not sure I have confidence in all of his verbiage. I'm not sure I have confidence on all the plays that he's putting together. So I think that is what's going to make the difference. In the end, having the right people around you should help with that difference, but it's not going to be the main thing.
Great seeing you. You look happy and joyful. I will say that 4 or 5 days ago, because my daughter speaks a little French, and she went to the Olympics.
Yes.
4 or 5 days ago, I downloaded Duolingo app, and I started taking French lessons for 45 minutes every day. Don't ask me a question. It's very ugly right now, but maybe because of your history of going overseas, we could have a conversation some point over a coffee, and I could Je suis Colin, and maybe I can, I don't know.
We'll work it out. Well, the next Olympics is in Italy, so maybe you should switch to Italian. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Great seeing you. Nice job, as always.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.